All right, everybody, we're back with Conversations in Pastime. It's your boy J Mac and your boy Jay Hayes. What's going on, Mr. Hayes?
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Everything's been going good. Ready to get on some pretty good topics here today.
Okay. So, first and foremost, everybody has been in a tizzy the past couple weeks. Well, I guess the past week, about Jonah Hill and Keke Palmer. Jonah Hill's situation is a little bit new. Keke was last week. So I wanted to have a conversation about that, just kind of get your idea. I mean, both situations are kind of similar in a sense.
Sure.
Both of them are kind of stupid in my opinion. And are kind of non-news, but hey, it is what it is.
Yep, you're right. You're right about that.
So which way you want to go first?
Um, we can start with the most recent one, and then we can revert back to Kiki because the Jonah Hill situation, it's just I feel as if there's a lot to unpack on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, not taking anything away from the Kiki Palmer situation, but the Jonah Hill situation. That to me just sounds like a bitter ex.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that right there just sounds like that to me. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got a situation where somebody says, "Okay, I was with this dude. He was an asshole. He was abusive, blah blah blah." Well, not abusive. Not he wasn't beating on her, but she said he was verbally abusive and trying to be controlling. And I kind of have two minds on that. From what I've read, he wasn't necessarily being abusive, but he was laying boundaries. And I don't see a reason that boundaries are an issue. You want to let your significant other know if there's something that makes you uncomfortable. That shouldn't be an issue. However, some of the stuff that he laid out was stuff that she was doing when they met. She was a and from what I understand, she's a surfer and she does, surfing content. So that's going to include bikinis and stuff like that. And, surfing with people. And that was some of the stuff he said he was uncomfortable with. So it's kind of what you pull somebody out of a situation thinking that they're supposed to stop doing what they were doing when they met you. You know what I'm saying? Like that don't
Right.
make good sense to me.
Right.
A stripper
But
out the strip club and like, hey, I want to date you, and then tell her she can't strip no more. Like, fuck no.
exactly. You know, especially if you're not, just that, as a man in that situation, you kind of you kind of got to expect that they're gonna go back to what like what makes them their money.
Yeah.
Unless you're willing to pay for all the bills in that situation right there, just know that there's a chance that that person can and probably will go back to doing what they were doing to make the money. Because guess what, the job was already there before this person came along.
Yeah. And that's got to
Um,
be a conversation too. I mean, if you let her know up front, like, hey, I know what you was doing, whoop de whoop, but I want to take you away from that. I want to make you my girl. I want to take care of everything. That's a conversation y'all got up front, and this would never be an issue.
exactly,
It's a complete non-issue because she ain't going back to work because she already know what the deal is, or you
exactly,
already just decided as a couple what the situation is.
absolutely, absolutely, and that's in any relationship, communication is key. And it's always good, what the older people will say in the courting stage. It's always good to get those topics out and get them on the table and figure out, what makes the one person, comfortable, what makes them uncomfortable, and vice versa. Because if you're in a committed relationship with someone, the last thing you want to do is put them in a compromising position.
Mhm.
Um, So that's one of those deals, to where the communication part really didn't come through. And then, they got text messages out there, they got everything out on blast. And it sounds like that wasn't even a conversation. It sounded like he was just trying to maybe dictate to her, or that's the narrative that she's trying to push. That he
Mhm.
was just trying to be a dictator to her, tell her what to do, tell her where to go, and all of that. Um, So at the end of the day, you have to have communication, and you got to have respect for each other as well. First and foremost, you got to respect each other's opinion. I think that, for whatever reasons, people are just getting into relationships out of convenience rather than actually knowing the person and just actually respecting the person. It's like convenience, and then you build the respect later, which that's completely backwards in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, some situations do work out that way, but
Yeah.
that's not generally what a relationship is for. I
No. No.
the twist to this though is the fact that the young lady didn't drop any of this stuff until they were well out of their relationship. He's in a new relationship and just had a baby.
Exactly.
So
And that's where I say that there's probably some bitterness in
yeah,
there, or a little bit of, just a little bit of anger towards the person. Because, I mean, first and foremost, I don't get it. I will never understand it. It just doesn't sit right with me for people to actually air their business out there. Certain things need to be said and handled behind closed doors. You
it's
don't need to put out your business out there to everybody unless you're just trying to get some more attention because you know, you're becoming irrelevant.
mm-hmm.
Um, and it's just I've never been a fan of airing out laundry. And especially like if you're having an issue with your significant other, that needs to be handled between y'all. You don't need to get friends, families, or just the general public involved in y'all's disagreement. Because that sheds
That's just the new thing to do. It's I need a team behind me, so I'm gonna put
exactly,
it up and see how many people are on my side.
exactly.
Which
Um,
ultimately, who gives a shit? No, I mean,
I mean, let's just start a coup.
1,000 people on your side, and now you don't have a relationship. Now you crying about being lonely, and you
Mhm.
bitter because that person moved on to somebody who actually respected those boundaries.
Exactly, exactly. So it's you know, if you're looking at it on that side of the coin, it's a situation where that seems more toxic than what the text messages were saying, like the whatever he was saying in the text messages.
Yeah,
Because you're playing the victim here, and it's just there's always two sides to the coin, and there's always something going on. You just know that there's always something brewing, something's there.
I would agree with the bitter ex because, like I said, he just had a baby, which means they've had at least a 9 months to a year between when they were together.
Correct.
So I'm even gonna go out on a limb and say longer than a year because it's not like he met his new girlfriend and was like, I'm getting her pregnant tonight.
Right.
I mean that could be a situation. I just don't believe that was it. So you had at least a year where you could have been like, nah, he's terrible. This is what he does, blah, 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 blah. But then you say you saved it because you didn't want to cause stress on his baby mama while she was pregnant. I call bullshit.
Hmm.
Um, because, like I said, you had that time before. And if you didn't get to it before, why is it worth it now? Y'all
Right.
ain't together. It's been at least a year that y'all ain't been together. Go
Right.
on your way and find you somebody who don't mind you surfing and showing off your body and bikini pics and shit. Like
Yeah.
that dude is no longer your concern.
Exactly. And then she should no longer be his concern.
Right.
Um, and it's just I feel as if it's just just an attention getter. Um, and I mean, if you're in boyfriend status, not fiance status, not husband status, if you're in just boyfriend status, you can say, what makes you uncomfortable, and then if it's reciprocated, then great. That's the goal. That's the end result that you're going for. But unless you start, leading by example on certain things and then establishing your credibility for your opinion, you really can't tell your girlfriend to stop doing something that she was already doing before. Like how you said earlier, you just can't. You got to be that rock, that person that she believes in, and she respects. And you can't go into a relationship demanding respect. You got to earn that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this between demanding and commanding. Um, so maybe that's a fault towards him on that part, just kind of going in, telling what you can, what you can't do, and then wrapping it all up in a nice little package and calling it boundaries. or it's
I don't see. I got to push back. I don't think he was telling her what she can and can't do per se. He was just saying this is what makes me uncomfortable. Now, I might have to go back and read it. Maybe he did say something to the effect, "This makes me uncomfortable, so stop doing it or fuck off." Like
yeah,
that might have happened. Now that I'm kind of reading them back in my head, I think he did say something to that effect. But there was also some things in there. It was like, "Hey, I don't appreciate this. You don't have to go out and look skimpy." Now he did say something about boundaryless relationships with other men.
mm-hmm.
Now, I don't really know exactly what that means, but I there could be something to be said about that, just depending on what he meant by boundaryless. Now, I mean,
Absolutely.
if you taking pictures with dudes and they got their hand on your ass or like cupping your breasts or something like that, that's definitely like, hey, bro, like I'm in a relationship. You can't be doing that. But that's also something they have to have a conversation about, because if those were the kind of pictures she was having before him, obviously she's like, hey, this is what I do for my job, so she gonna think that's cool.
Yes, yes, yes. And it just goes, I mean, what is the relationship built on? And that's just what it is. But a lot of celebrities that get into relationships, I feel like they just do it just to do it, or just to stay within a certain group. A different what's the word? A different you click, the cool kids club or what have you, to stay relevant. I feel like that's what a lot of them do, and it's not based on a lot of principles as far as relationships goes. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm no relationship guru or anything like that. By no means, I don't claim to be that, but I do have common sense, and that's that's what it seems like right there. A lot of those relationships that are out in the public like that never really last if you really think about it. The relationships that last and that are there, for the long haul. You see one man and one woman that are celebrities that's been together for years. They kept their stuff behind closed doors. They handle their own issues, like adults, behind closed doors. Nobody bashed the other person. Versus, I mean, there's countless celebrities who are in TMZ getting pictures taken. Oh yeah, well, they were with this person, this person, this person, that person, and then now they're not together anymore. That stuff sells. That stuff right there is what gets the like button.
I'm not even gonna put it off on celebrities, because you do see a lot of that, but it's even bleeding into real life now, because so much of our lives now is driven by celebrity. Even
True.
even though there's a much more broad percentage of people that aren't celebrities that want to live their lives as if they are celebrities. And because of those celebrity hookups and breakups, you got many people nowadays that are like, I'm in a relationship with this person, and they have one disagreement, and it's like, fuck it, I'm done. I can't
Yep.
handle it. I gotta go.
Hmm.
And it's like a relationship, a real relationship, something that you're trying to build on with somebody. You're gonna have those ups and downs. You're gonna have
Hmm.
arguments. You're gonna have disagreements. But at the end of the day, y'all are working together to create something.
Right.
You know,
Right.
peeling out at the first sign of a disagreement is bullshit.
That's it. And then that reflects on the maturity level too, and then just the mental status, of people. Ones that just, I mean, we see it all the time. We see it in certain friend groups that we have. We see it just around people that we know.
Yeah.
And it's a situation where, some things you just need to keep behind closed doors. Some things you need to talk about in private.
Yeah.
Some things just need to be, better said whenever it's just two people engaging in a conversation. You don't need an audience for that. But that's the culture, that's the society that we're living in now. Everybody's fueled by likes. They want to be approved by likes. They want to be validated by likes. Which that's just the society that we're in. That's the direction that we're going right now.
And you just have I mean, I'm sure we both dealt with it coming up, and it's one of those things that you kind of figure out as you get older, but like you said, it is a maturity thing. You
Correct.
have saying women and men that don't want to deal because they think that the first person they meet is supposed to be this perfect person. Nothing ever goes wrong. There's never a disagreement, never an argument. And that's just the way life is. If you have this perfect person, that perfect person don't exist.
Right. Right.
But that we've, because of Hollywood and different things like that, people have this perception that you're gonna find the person that's for you, and there's never gonna be a bad day.
And that's completely false. That's a misconception. That's a fairy tale. That's not true. It's, I mean, man, you're absolutely right. And unfortunately, a lot of people get hurt. And then if you bring a child into that situation, it's just even worse. We got a few. I know you said something about like the Kiki Palmer thing. That's similar right there. Just you got a celebrity that's out there with a child. She had a child with the young man, and she's out there real scantily clad. Really showing a lot. What she had on at that event, and she was hugged up with another celebrity.
Mm-hmm. I just had to high five the camera because I didn't have a problem with it.
You
But
know, um, it's just one of those. It's one of those things, And he had an issue with that, But in my opinion, you know, he had a right to feel that way if he cared about somebody like that. And then especially, if they have a child, because that child's going to see that video.
mm-hmm.
That child's going to see all of mommy's work. So it's about what you want your child to see. You know, I mean, it's all about what you want your child to see. But then at the same time, I saw a lot of clapback from a lot of, from a lot of ladies on that. It was like, I think one was saying like, well, he's not her husband, so she should be able to do whatever he wants. He's not, like he ain't taking care of her bills and paying this and that, so she ought to be able to do what he wants. Well, I disagree with that honestly, because it goes back to what we said earlier. You need to set those boundaries and have the conversations in private and see what makes you comfortable, what makes you uncomfortable with
That's
each
exactly
other's line of work.
that's
What's
exactly
that?
what I was gonna say. I was gonna say it ultimately comes down to, even if he didn't have um the greatest feeling about that,
Yeah,
talk to her when she come home. You don't try to put her on blast on the internet, because now not only have you put her in a position, but now you put everybody else in your business. And I'm
and
talking
made yourself
about
vulnerable.
everybody.
Yep,
And yeah, and you make yourself vulnerable, and you make, depending on how you word it, you kind of end up making yourself look stupid.
exactly. You know, you kind of cutting your legs out from under you when it comes to that. Because you get people that say stuff like, well, he ain't paying her bills. Well, she ought to be able to do what she wants. She ought to be able to wear what she wants. Okay, cool. But
That
I mean, if he's considering marrying her and her being his wife, and then him giving her his last name, which it should mean something to him, um, then they should have already had that conversation. Now who knows? He probably did have the conversation with her about what she was going to wear. He probably seen the dress and everything she put it on, and he was probably having reserves like, you know. And she asked him, "Do you like it?" And he was like, "Oh, that's all right." And then they probably had an argument about it or what have you. And then she just went and did it because you have some people, men and female, that just because their spouse may say no, they'll go do it anyway.
out of
You
spite.
know, out of spite. And then if you find yourself in that kind of relationship or that kind of things, um
I'm out.
yeah,
I'm out.
like don't get in before you get in too deep. Now you done brought a child into the world, and now you got that right there. So think about it. Y'all's views and y'all's opinions are different, completely different. Um and she's gonna have that kid around certain people that he may not even agree with. She's gonna have that kid around certain situations that he might not even agree with, but he can't do nothing about it now.
Mm-hmm.
And then and vice versa. I don't know who the young man is. You
Nobody.
know, I don't know who he is.
Nobody does.
Um,
Nobody did until he made that post, and then he
yeah,
kept himself in the spotlight.
yeah. Like, I don't know who that guy is, but at the same time, you have to respect each other, and respect, like I said, goes a long way. Um, I know, for me, I would feel, some kind of way. I'll feel slotted if that happens right there, because she's out there for everybody to see. And that may make him feel insecure. I would be upset because, for one, I would have already had the conversation on the front end.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I'm disrespected. And now I'm looking like a fool.
Bitch. Oh.
so so it would be a different set of frustration for me. But by no means would I just put it out there for everybody to see what's going on. It kind of goes like this right here. Getting out of the celebrity world, but getting into the, like the real world, with us, it's like, okay, if there's an argument with my significant other, my spouse, my mama don't need to know about it. My sister, like nobody in my family needs to know anything about that disagreement, because that's just temporary. They don't need to know everything that we have going on. Because if we were to end things, the family's perception of that, my family's perception of her would be this. And
Yep.
you know how everybody sit around and talk. So they'd be smiling in her face, but then still thinking that right there about her. I have enough respect for her to not do that, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
You they're going to think the best of her, and then it just didn't work out. I'm not going to go into great detail and tell everybody what all we do and this and that, because that ain't for nobody. And then whenever you do, find couples that if something happens, they automatically run back to their friends and just tell them every little thing that's going on. And don't let it be a group of friends that don't have what you have,
Mm.
because that's just going to make it worse. They're going to talk her out of doing something because they enjoy being miserable.
Bro, I
Yeah.
just had this conversation last night on one of my homeboys' lives. He saying he brought up the question. It was basically, if you are the friend of somebody and you are mutual friends with both people in this situation, but
Mm-hmm.
you're mutual friends with a couple, and you find out one of the people is cheating, do you go back and tell the other? And I told them no. The reason being is because there's a lot of stuff that goes on with that. You have multiple situations where that shit can go left. And
Yeah.
most situations, that couple is not going to break up immediately, because there's probably been some tension there in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
and that situation happened, and now that's been brought to light, but now they have something to talk about. So they've
Mm-hmm.
now talked this situation out, and now you're the bad guy because you try to come between them. And it was
Exactly.
like, I was trying to help out. Nope, that's not what they see. And if that's not the case, the person that you went and told, they're pissed off. You know who they're gonna take that anger out on?
The middleman.
It comes back to what we were just talking about as far as maturity. A mature person will take that in kind and be like, oh, okay, well, you know, this got to happen. I appreciate it. But how many people are you really going to meet that's that mature not to focus that anger in another direction?
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
the other thing I told them, I said, you also don't know what kind of relationship those people have. So they might already know about each other's infidelities because you might have caught this one, but they might both be doing something. And that might be an agreement that they have. And now it's like, yeah, I know about what he's doing. Why you in our business?
Yep.
Go somewhere. And now
Yep.
us yet and still, they mad at you.
Mm-hmm. A lot of, I mean, I would agree with you on that too. Like mutual friends on that situation, you know them both well, and like just stay out of their business. Now on the flip side of that, is say for instance, if one of my best friends or something like that, I know he just met this girl, and then say for instance, I done seen this girl around somewhere, but I just can't put my finger on it. Where, you know, and then come to find out that she is seeing another dude that I may know. Right now, this is my best friend. Okay, best friend, homie. So then it's like, okay, I would make him aware of that, because I wouldn't tell him in a way of like trying to make him break up with her. I would just say, hey, listen, let me know if I'm crossing the line here, but this is what I saw with this person that you just met. So you take with it whatever you want with it, and I'll leave it at that. I wouldn't follow up when asking, hey, what'd you say to her? I wouldn't do none of that, but I'm just that kind of person that, like, I'm gonna look out for my people. And after I say what I need to say, it's completely on them where they want to move left or right on it.
See, that's completely different because guess what? I
Mhm.
ain't got no ties to her.
Yeah, no ties. So it's like, hey, look, dude, I done seen her, at this party that I was at, and she was wilding out. You know, definitely not the girl that you bringing to church on Sunday now.
So in that situation, regardless of how long you know your friend, that's got to be a situation where you really know your friend. Because
Exactly. You got to really know what's going on
you
with it.
know the friend that you can bring that information to, and they gonna take it for what it is and be like, I appreciate that. And
Mhm.
versus the friend that's gonna be like, oh, I see
Mhm.
what you doing. You just you trying to make me feel bad about her so you can get with her.
No, dude, I wouldn't even. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, I would want somebody to tell me something like that. So it's almost like a case by case scenario, but at the same time, it's like sometimes like you don't need to get in everybody's business. And I've seen it time after time. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it as of recent up until like 2 years ago. I've seen it to where one person is in a relationship, proud of that relationship, happy, but then you got so-called friends that you think are 100% down for you, but realistically they hoping that you fall so you can be right there with them. They're jealous of what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see that. I could see that. I could see that. I could see that. And it's just a situation where they don't want you to be no better than they want you to just be miserable so y'all can go out and just do whatever y'all want to on Friday, Saturday nights.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a level of maturity there. You got to have the foresight and the discernment to know who you're dealing with. Um, because the worst thing you can do is talk about your relationship problem to a woman that's already scorned.
Mm-hmm.
Like for one female to talk to another female that's had failed relationships, whether she just got a bad choice in men or it's her the common denominator. You know, she can't keep a guy they date for the same amount of time, and she always breaks up at this particular time when something comes up. Okay, well, you don't need to ask relationship advice. Maybe some other kind of advice, something else that she may be good at.
Might be
But
good at financing, but she ain't
yeah,
good.
she may be good at finance. She may be good at cooking or something. You get some cookbook recipes from her or something like that. But you know what I'm saying? She may be good at whatever else, but don't get relationship advice from her. You know, she may be a very successful businesswoman, but maybe get some entrepreneurial tips, but don't ask her for relationship advice. And then the same thing as guys, you got to know who you hanging out. You got to know the guys that are in your circle, which I highly recommend that as a man, you keep your circle small.
Mhm.
You keep your circle small. You have more so of a tribe than you have just a whole bunch of homies. You know, have you a tribe of people that's all
I don't
on
think
the
anybody
same?
has a whole bunch of homies as a grown ass dude.
Say that one more time.
I said I don't think anybody has a whole bunch of homies as a grown ass man, but
No, you don't, man. No, you have you a handful, and then like if you handling your business, you working, you taking care of your family, y'all got a plan to even hang out.
yeah,
Like, like you gotta look at your calendar and make sure that your wife hadn't snuck nothing in that you got to do, for the family, and then you got to plan that out. I'd say, at minimum a month in advance,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and then just plan on that. You got to communicate. That goes back to
Well,
communicate.
it depends because I have some people who I know who I'm good friends with, but they don't have anywhere near what I have. And that's nothing against them,
Mhm.
but they don't have, to worry about kids. They don't have to worry about a wife or a girlfriend or anything like that. So it's like always on the spot. Like, hey man, shit, I'm over here at the bar. You want to come throw a couple back? Do I want to? Absolutely. Am I coming? Hell no.
Nope, nope, not at all. Because guess what? That one, that one friend right there that's doing that and living that lifestyle past 30, ain't nothing good gonna come from that. And then like that dude is probably the player. He's got a bunch of different women that he conversate with, not necessarily anything further than that. And you're gonna put yourself in a position to compromise what you already have. So I mean, for me, the bar scene is out. You know, the bar scene is completely out for me. I much rather enjoy myself in my garage. you know, you
I
know,
ain't
just
gonna say I wouldn't say personally that it's out, but like you said, you have to plan for that time.
yeah,
I mean, because you there's nothing wrong with getting out and getting away, but again, it has to be the right scenario, and you
yeah.
have to set that time aside. Like, I'll go to the bar and grab a couple drinks and catch up or whatever, and let that be it. But as far as like, hey, let's meet up at 9 o'clock. All right, let's have a couple drinks. Okay, now it's 10 o'clock. All right, hey, let's go over to the club. Like, nah,
I'm
nah, I
going to the
can't.
house,
I'm
bro.
over here to get a couple drinks. I got a couple in me. I'm out.
Yep, yep. Yeah, you come back home because guess what? Your home is gonna be your safe haven. That's your safe place. So you come home, bro. I mean, unless your wife is cool with you doing that and got a gang of trust for you, you've earned that, or she don't care and she doing something else too, you know, and she doing that same thing with her single friends that's in their 30s. So there's nothing good can come out of that, especially on the regular like that. Nothing good can come out of that situation.
But I mean, like, and it comes back to that respect thing too. It's
You
like
gotta have it. You gotta have respect. You gotta have boundaries. And respect is,
I
you
said,
know, I'm
went out from this time to this time. This time don't need to turn into this time. Like, you know what
nope,
I'm saying? At 9 to 11 don't need to turn into fucking 3 o'clock in the morning.
No, no. If 3 o'clock happens, something has happened to you to where you can't make it home, and then your wife knows where to find you, whether that be jail or at the hospital.
Right.
You know, hopefully not the morgue. So, so so it's just one of those things right there. You got to say what you mean, and you got to mean what you say in relationships. And then if you do that right there, and you set your boundaries with someone, and that person respects what you say, and you reciprocate that same respect, you should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as leaving y'all's destiny up to social media and people that carry no weight to the conversation, they just want to pull it down. The only weight they carry is weight to pull you down. You need to, you need to rid yourself from that. You know, and then it's just sad because I see it all the time. Like, I can pick up my phone and get on social media, and I can see all kind of stuff, and from people that I know, and then it's just like, why would you put that out there?
For me, they put it out there for me because I want to be entertained. I want
Yeah,
to get your bullshit, and your
and measure
bullshit
and
make
measure your problems to my problems.
yeah, bro. Somebody that we know personally, and we know both of these people. They had their whole relationship air out on Facebook about 3-4 years ago. It was
Mm-hmm.
funny as hell to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these people got it. I'm pretty sure they got a baby together, and they was married, and they was putting out everything. I'm
Yep.
talking about, like, I don't remember anything specific, but I'm talking about it was like, yeah, that's why you shit in the bed. Like, it was just like everything. It was like I'm looking at it, and I'm appalled, but at the same time I'm like, this shit is hilarious. With my popcorn.
Yeah. And ultimately, what is that doing for you while you sitting there watching it?
For me,
Yeah, or me. What would that do? Just for somebody that's sitting there watching this complete real life sitcom play out. What is that benefiting you from?
oh, it
Nothing.
was absolutely no
Nothing.
benefit from
It,
me, but it was
there's no
like,
benefit. There's more detriment than benefit on that. And the detriment I'm talking about is that's going to keep you occupied with looking at that silly stuff right there for free. And it's gonna force you to formulate an opinion for both parties. And then for three, you're not gonna get anything done in your day. Because the time that I'm not gonna say anything done in your day, but the more time you spend watching that right there is taking you away from working, focusing on a project or something like that. And that's just my outlook on it because I've had to downplay a lot of my social media time in the last month or two because I caught myself just scrolling and watching, going back and wanting to see it.
agree with you that you do have to downsize the amount of time that you are on social media. Now,
Mm-hmm.
won't agree that that little bit of drama was taking so much time out of my day because it really wasn't. It was like I would hop on and be like, and then going about my business, and then it was like, I have some downtime or whatever, and it's like, all right, let's see what happened. And because it was all unfolding. It was like, all right, let me go back. It was almost like next time on Dragon Ball Z. Let me see. Oh no, no.
No, no, he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready.
You can check in on it on your own leisure at that point, but it's also,
Yeah.
like I said, it was just like is a real life, dramedy or whatever. But I'm like, at the same
Wait,
time,
you just call it. Wait, wait. You just call it dramedy?
yeah, it was a
I'm gonna
dramedy.
write that down. That's a new word for me. Dramedy.
Because it was their drama that was a comedy for me. Shit was hilarious.
Right.
But you also get to see, um I will say, in a sense, I was making fun of it more so because it's like differences in maturity.
Mm-hmm.
I would never post something like that, so something so intimate, because for one, you do have kids involved.
Mm-hmm.
And then for two, you don't need everybody else to know your business, because guess what? If y'all are going off of emotion like that, and then at some point you decide like this was stupid, it was a stupid, argument, y'all come together and y'all actually have a conversation off of the internet, and now y'all are partners again, and y'all, nothing bad came out of it, which is a good thing. But at the same time, you are now married to a person that you just put out as a nasty idiot.
Yeah.
Because
You
you
just
have
tarnish that person's,
all
name
this
and
stuff,
reputation.
and now you got the whole world not thinking, but knowing that your husband or your wife shits in the bed, or that this, saying, beautiful person that everybody thought was, the perfect person, does weird shit on the side. So now everybody's eyeballing both of y'all, because it's like you just outed this person, but you still with them. So what does that say about you?
Mm-hmm. You're 100% right on that. It's
So
just people don't think, social media has taught people what to think and what to do. Um, and that's just what it is. But for both celebrities and groups, Jonah Hill and whoever that young lady was, a surfer, and then Keke Palmer and her baby's father. Um, I, I wish them the best, but you kind of need to keep personal issues at home,
yeah.
But I mean, shoot, they may just be just doing that kind of stuff to continue to get likes. They sell the tweets, they sell the text messages, and then they got another passive income coming in for a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm. I'll say this on the Keke Palmer situation, then we'll take a break. But with Keke, I didn't necessarily see anything wrong with what she was wearing. But as we've discussed, if there was a discussion that they had ahead of time and she won't say disobeyed, but she went against it, then that's another conversation. But
Right.
if she just went out and she was with some friends, now I know it was all hyped up because she was on stage with Usher, but I mean, he's a celebrity, she's a celebrity, so if that was something that they was trying to do, that would have happened already. So I mean, as
Mm-hmm.
far as trying to make it seem like she went out dressed scantily clad, or she was dressing like a hoe, or however people perceive it to be, because she was expecting an audience with Usher, I think is kind of stupid. And then
Yeah.
two, a lot of times with women after pregnancies, they
Mm-hmm.
do have that inner conflict of, am I still sexy? They
Mm-hmm.
they still they have those issues. So that could have been her way of testing those waters. Which again, if that's something he's uncomfortable with, should have been a conversation before she
Mm-hmm.
went out, not after, and
You got to
especially.
communicate.
So I mean that was the way I felt about that.
You got to communicate.
Yeah,
You got to communicate. That's
that's
it. What's a simple 30-minute conversation back and forth? Like, what can that hurt?
yeah.
Can't hurt anything. You know, it's better to communicate than to assume.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
that's a good place to stop. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. All right, everybody, we're back from break. I talked to Jonah. He's not feeling so well, He's a little under the weather, but it's okay. He's said he's gonna be okay. stop the Jonah slander is all I'm saying. Stop the Jonah slander. And before you freak out, I had a little wardrobe malfunction, had to put on a new shirt, but it's cool. Just want to let you know up top, because I know you probably like, the hell?
Hey, bro, you're a guy. You're not gonna get likes and thumbs ups for your wardrobe malfunction. Okay.
Come on.
Just throwing it out there. Like you're not gonna get that.
No, it's all good. I don't want the attention no way.
I heard that.
I am
Yeah,
defined by my wardrobe or
okay.
my popularity because I malfunctioned it. How about that, brother?
Yeah. Yeah, it's by design.
See, that's what the man wants you to do. The man wants you to be upset about your wardrobe. Oh,
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Knick knack, paddywhack, get a dog a bone.
yes. I was going with that. Good
You
job.
want some bean pies, my brother? That what you I got bean pies right here.
Oh my God.
How do we get to that? How do we go from Jonah Hill to that just then? But cool. Let's just go.
It happened.
It happens. Sometimes. All the time. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Oh,
Who knows?
I don't even know where to go with that, man. I mean,
So we pretty much covered the Keke Palmer situation. We covered that, and we've just said that some things are better left behind closed doors. But hey, who knows? You may be doing this stuff just for publicity. That guy, he may be just trying to climb his way up maneuver through the industry just to get whatever he wants. It's kind of like like you hear about females doing that right there. Just trying to just be known and stuff like that. But you got just as many dudes with tendencies like that.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just as many dudes. So that could be a case right there. But now, as far as Jonah Hill goes, in that situation, I don't see anything wrong with that. Like I said, that's just a man voicing his opinions out. Probably shouldn't have sent text messages though. Probably should have had a personal conversation.
I mean, even so we're in that age, unfortunately, where you know people don't keep their business behind closed doors,
Yeah.
and you can't keep certain stuff to yourself, because regardless of what is said, I know people are going to try to say, she's trying to help prevent this or that with his current person. But like I said before, why now? You had time before where you could have put this out as soon as y'all broke up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She had time before to do that, so either she had somebody else in her ear telling her what to do. Maybe that bitter best friend that ain't got nobody, who knows? or she had, you know, maybe they're just now getting out, but she had already talked about it.
Right.
It's just but I don't blame Jonah Hill for feeling that way. Now just based off that conversation, I'm on his side on this one. Now, I don't know what all he's done behind closed doors to her. Don't know that. I'm just going off of the conversation and then the reason and the backing and behind it. I'm gonna be on his side on that right there. I think I
I
was doing different.
I'm not gonna say I'm against him, but
Mm-hmm.
I definitely can't say for certainty that I'm with him. Reason being, I don't see a reason with you setting boundaries, but you can't also set those boundaries after the fact. And
Yes,
I say after the fact because they they say that the way that they found each other was him liking her photos.
he's
So it was
probably
cool for
scrolling his
her.
email.
It was cool for her to be in bikini and hitting the beach and surfing and all this stuff prior to you, and that's what brought you to the dance. That's what you liked about her. But now that you got her, You don't want her to do it no more.
Trying to turn her into Rapunzel.
Yeah,
Trying to
yeah.
get you Rapunzel, right? Okay. Well, yeah, that makes perfect sense since you
I
said it like
like the
that.
way like I said prior, it's like going in the strip club, and it's like I like the way you shake that ass. That's nice. Can I get your number? Cool. Hey, so I'm gonna need you to stop shaking that ass.
Hmm.
I need it to be exclusively for me.
Yeah, we got a pole and everything in the room. This is just
Yeah,
daytime.
I know you've been stripping for 30 years, but
For
that's okay.
30 years,
I
bro.
don't know.
All right, so if you got so if you meet a exotic dancer, entertainer, and she's been stripping for 30 years, she got to at least be 50.
Yeah,
And if she go back to doing that life, there ain't no saving that. None whatsoever. You got your 50-year-old woman still getting up on that pole, working it,
I
like
mean,
like working and working. That's what she's doing.
it's some 50-year-old women who would do just as well uh twerking and working.
I gotta see them in person because I don't believe that AI stuff and then all them filters.
Oh
I need
no.
to see natural.
Oh no, man. I
I need to
mean,
see.
you think Angela Bassett wear a lot of makeup?
Oh no,
She
no,
older
no,
than
she don't.
50.
Yeah, Pam Grier too.
Yeah,
Yeah, man,
yeah.
they don't make them like they used to.
Vanessa Bell Calloway.
Yeah, beautiful,
Mm,
beautiful women
yes.
that that's all we've seen on TV, like their character. That's all we've seen on TV our entire lives.
Yep.
You know, like from seeing Angela Bassett, get beat up and what's love got to do with it. To her and Trey's daddy making up and Boys in the Hood, they being civil.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, hey man, then she burning some dude's car up on one movie, getting rid of all his suits, you know. But that dude had it coming though.
I've never seen that movie. I know what you're talking about.
Well, that dude right there, I
Never
think his
watched the
name was
movie.
Miles or something. He ain't never played a good person in any movie.
Waiting to Exhale.
Yeah, he ain't never played a good person. He was terrible in Soul Food.
Oh,
No, his name was
was
Miles in
Miles in
Soul
Soul
Food.
Food. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. He wasn't no good there. He just had that look like no good dude, like somewhat successful, but just couldn't do right, can't get right.
She's still fine too, Vanessa Williams.
Yes, yes, she is.
I don't give a damn about this family. Family fucked my husband.
Oh, Faith, but
Faith was
that's
like,
something, but that's
hold on.
something right there though too.
Faith tried to sneak off like she was in church. She put that one up, was like, I gotta go.
Yeah, yeah, you see why she don't never come around because she been stealing stuff from Barbara dolls to clothes and everything their whole life, you know. But you know what though? Like if you sit back and think, it may not be to that degree, but they were pretty spot on with the family dynamics
Mm-hmm.
because you could relate to a lot of that stuff just in real life, you know, like you could. I know a fella, from my family, um, not gonna say which side, but he fits the bill for Miles. Fit the bill to the T. you know, just what it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just one of those things. But that's something right there too. Um, how that breaks a family down. After say, for instance, like the grandparent. Like in that case, is Big Mama. After she passes, does the family stay together? Like, who keeps it together? Which older cousin is going to step in and take care of that? keep everybody together.
Mm-hmm.
Which older cousin is going to try to step in and take over, but whatever he or she touches, it turns to crap,
Yep.
and
Yep.
nobody likes them. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean that can be. I mean that list can go
Yeah.
on with that
Yeah.
because
No, I
that,
mean you're not wrong. I mean, I look at, the way things are now. Like it's a lot. I will say I feel like it was a lot easier
mhm.
back in the day to do a lot of this stuff because I mean life wasn't so fast paced. But
Yeah, I would agree. There was
now,
more. There were more too. Because think about it. You know, like the baby boomers. Like it was. It wasn't just like two kids per household. You know, it was 10, 12 kids,
mhm,
and they all 2, 3 years apart from each other. And so basically, your grandma was pregnant for 20 years.
right, basically, yeah,
your grandma stayed pregnant half her life. And that happened.
yeah,
Um, but once that dynamic right there, that era, it's unfortunate, but that, we're seeing the decline on that side right there. And if you don't keep those good roots and good core values like that, you're not gonna be able to pass it down to your kids. It's not gonna be the same.
yeah.
I
It,
feel
it's
like.
it's very different. Like I said, um, it is gonna come down to who can keep everything together.
Mhm.
Luckily, um, I have some cousins who want to keep things together, and some cousins who kind of went away that are now wanting to come back to make
Mhm.
things even better within our family and keeping everybody united. So I mean that's good.
Yeah.
Look, we had our family reunion. So I went back home and I thought, well, I won't say I thought about something. Something was brought to my attention because I'd forgotten about it. I forgot about the fact that you and I are actually kinfolks.
Mhm. Mhm. You know, that little piece of dirt. Right, that little spot of land right there. You got multiple last names.
Yep.
Can everybody run the
And
same?
even without going too far into it, but even the individual that you wanted to get is uh
Somewhat tied in there.
yeah, our
That's
kinfolk.
why. Yeah, that's why you don't. Man, you can't trust it. That's why
Yeah.
you don't date from your town. You don't trust that, bro. Don't trust it at all whatsoever.
Good.
Do not trust that because that's a powder keg. Like
Yeah.
that's a grenade, son. You just never know. That's why you get out of town to date. You go somewhere else.
That's why I had to marry outside of my state. Get
Yeah, get gone. Me too.
on away
Hey,
from him.
I ain't. I gotta go somewhere else. You know, 'cause that's just what it is. But hey, that's that small, you know, a small community, but then it's still tight knit.
Yeah.
It's just.
You should see my wife, the look on her face when I'm trying to explain to her how I'm double kin to some people in my family, but they're not kin. And she's like, no, that don't sound right. And I'm like, no,
It can
it
happen.
is. Like,
It can happen.
this was my cousin before it was my aunt, but it's not
Hmm.
an incestuous thing because the my uncle and my aunt are not kin to each other
Hmm.
except through marriage. But
You got two families. You got two families that had multiple children that married multiple kids from that family.
yeah, Okay, well, the way you said that, it makes it sound bad.
So it's like, come on, hold on. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Let me make it clear here, okay? You have, say, if you have, let's throw arbitrary name out there. Let's just say the
Brady's and the Partridges.
Yeah. I was thinking Hatfields and McCoys for some reason, but yeah, Brady,
I mean, that
Brady,
worked too.
you know, and then you got the Partridge family, or better yet, let's just say this right here. Let's keep it simple. You got the family, you got the Winslows, and you got the Huxtables. Okay.
There you go. There you go.
All right. So then, if you have it set up to where Eddie Winslow marries Denise, okay, and then you have Eddie's friend Waldo marries what was it? Rudy. You know, they get older, right?
Yeah.
And then Eddie Winslow has a kid with Denise, so they're first cousins, right? And the same thing as Rudy and Waldo, so they're first cousins, right? Would that be no?
I mean, yeah, but once you went with,
Let's just say Waldo was adopted.
I was gonna say once you went with the friend, then you kind of threw it.
Yeah, let's just say Waldo was adopted there. Yeah, I see what I did there. Let's say Waldo was adopted. Then that would be then, right?
Sort of.
Sort of.
As Emmanuel would say on Wild 'N Out, it's a little shaky. A
A
little
little
shaky.
shaky. A little shaky right there. Yeah. But it would be something like that. And I mean, there's nothing weird going on with that. That's just what it is. You know, it's very small dating pool, if you'd
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Unless you get out.
Well, and then I also explained to her, I was like, well, you got to think about it. Back in those days, the roads were not what they are today. So you might not get over to this side of town, but ever so often. So you see this person, they just a new person. You don't find out until, later on. It's like, oh, that was your cousin. Or, something like that. It was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like my granddad had a baby by my aunt. That is my aunt on my dad's side of the family. So
Wow.
that means that is my aunt and my first cousin.
Wow.
So my aunt on on my grandfather's side or my mom's side of the family. There you go, because it's my mom's sister and my dad's first cousin. So so it would be my second cousin.
Wow. So yeah, so that is
So it
that
sounds weird. It sounds
sounds
weird, but there's no
there's no blood mixing.
Yeah, there's no interbreeding or anything. It just, like you said, small dating pool.
Yeah. Because I mean, that's just what it is, man. But like I said, I think that both of us got lucky whenever we got out of there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would say that. I say both of us got lucky, and
So I was actually thinking about this the other day. You and I had a conversation and we were just talking about, getting out and getting away. And I was like, I thought about whenever you moved. And, I remember helping you move into your new apartment. I was happy for you. And then I was also thinking, like, because at that time I was looking to get my own place because I wasn't, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think I was living on my own quite yet at that time. And I thought about moving out there with you or, seeing if it was possible. But I had to take a step back and I realized that I wasn't in a responsible enough place in my life to where I was ready for that. And I didn't want to put either of us in a situation where I was gonna mess up our friendship.
Yeah, yeah,
So I was like, happy for you. I'm falling back.
yeah. It was so that right that situation right there for me when I left, that was just the best thing for me to do. Just all in all, in a nutshell, I needed to go. I needed to get away. I needed to go. I needed to see things. Um, I don't think I would have had the same opportunities in that short span of time that I had I stayed.
Yeah.
Because for me, there wasn't really much jobs or work for me to do there, so I would have had to either go north or south for work an hour, right? And then it just get caught into the whole routine of that, and then next thing you're there, you never really leave. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Not that there's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm not saying that by no means, but I knew that for me, being the person that I am, I needed to get out and really like for one, go out and make a name for myself. Um, don't necessarily well well completely break my plate. What I always say, completely break my plate for my parents. And then, like I'm gonna go and I'm gonna, make my own way. I'm gonna survive, in the wild, basically. And that's pretty much where I went.
Definitely what it was.
That's pretty much
You
where I went.
you literally were surrounded by fucking swampland and water
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah, dude. That's just what it was for me. But you know what? Had I not did that at that time, I wouldn't have met some very influential people that are still in my life now and that I still talk to. A lot of very good mentors, a lot of very good, just people that for whatever reason thought that I was worth spending that extra time with and giving me free game on
Mhm.
how to do certain things. So I will always, I always cherish those relationships with those people. And then they saw something in me clearly that I didn't even see in myself. And I met people. I had a lot of, I had some trials. I had some tribulations.
You gotta have those.
Yeah, yeah, I had those. I had times where it was just rough. Just rough. Honestly, it was rough mentally. It was rough. Just just life and just actually, being able to juggle. You know, you know, be able to juggle a demanding career with high stakes, very high speed, no room for error, and there was no room for error just based off of the standard and the culture that we created when we were working. Like, like you don't want to be the one that's not keeping the train moving forward. You don't want to be the dude where one guy's putting coal into the engine and you just pouring water in it. You spraying water in there. You don't want to
Right.
be that. It's supposed to move the right way. So just dealing with that, and then anytime you're dealing in the public, you're dealing with people too. That becomes taxing, just in itself, because it's a hard thing to figure out how to you basically how to separate their problems from your goals or the group's goals. So I had to learn how to still be able to have compassion, still be able to be empathetic on stuff, but then at the same time keep everybody locked in on what we needed to get done. Because my job was to make sure that they had a paycheck at
Yeah.
the at the end of the day. My job was to make sure that they were successful, they got a paycheck, and they were able to take care of their families. So, and 22-year-old me like didn't have a clue what that was. So there was a lot of bumps in the road. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I had to do. But then once my time was up there, my season was up over that way. All like everything came. My wife came along. We were dating, and then like just stuff started falling in play, and then it caused for me to move again.
Mm-hmm.
So with this particular time, it was different because yeah, I left my hometown where everybody knew who I was. I mean, it wasn't hard, to know everybody or know
Right.
something about everybody, to go into a college town where I, developed a name for myself, some good, some bad.
I was going to say
Uh,
for better or for worse, right?
yeah, if for better for worse, and then move to a city that's, surrounded by a major city. That's right there next to a major city. I made a name for myself there as well. Um, and then coming to here to where the culture was completely different. So it's like I had to re-identify myself, like just find out who I was yet again, and like basically rebrand myself, because the area wasn't as welcoming
Right.
as my other area. You know, yeah, I was welcomed by my wife's family and stuff like that. Um, but then just the outside group, just different people, I didn't fit in with nobody. And it wasn't because I was trying to fit in, but I wasn't gonna lower my standards. I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
blunt. I wasn't
Yeah.
gonna lower my standards, but I wasn't gonna, like, I'm not trying to sound like I'm boasting or anything like that when I say lowering my standards. But if you don't stand for something, you're gonna fall for anything. And I didn't want to put myself around on certain things that's gonna make me compromise who I
Who
am.
you are. Yeah. Yeah.
You
No,
know.
I get that. No, like I said, man, I just sat back and I thought about that. And we we both took different paths, but we never lost touch.
That's
And
the main thing.
I I just knew that at that time I wasn't ready. And it's so funny that even just hearing you, recant all of that, I
Hmm.
was not in a place to where I was ready to leave.
Yeah.
And it took me so much more time after that
Hmm.
before I got the courage to like leave. Because I mean, I lived in a few different places, but it was all short term.
Hmm.
Um, but this last time when I moved out here, I didn't have any intentions of going back home. I
Hmm.
was like, I felt like I'd done all that I could do where I was at, and it was
Hmm.
time for me to go somewhere else and find something else.
Yeah, you got to do that. And fortunately for both of us, we found very good support systems. You
Hmm.
know, we found that, and that's really anybody that's got a little bit of ambition but may not really just want to get off the porch just yet. Everybody needs that one person, that significant other, that's gonna give them that extra little kick,
Yep.
that extra little motivation to just get the ball rolling.
Yep.
And then once that right there goes, like, it's on, you know. So that's what it was for me, and then for you, like how you said, like we never lost touch of each other. We was on different planes.
Hmm.
We were going a different direction. But then that goes back to just true friendship and loyalty. It's one thing to throw that friend word around, but it's
Yep.
another thing to actually be about it. And you always want to cheer for you, like your home team, what I'm saying, your
Hmm.
people. You guys want to cheer for them, make sure that they're doing right, and then they actually thriving wherever they are. So it happened for you before it happened for me, as far as you settling down and getting married and all of that. Now, there's a flip side of that part. You were well advanced for that. I wasn't. I wasn't. I will be the first one to say I was not fit to be anybody's boyfriend at 27 years old. 28 years old. 29. I kind of started, thinking about slowing down and changing a few habits of mine. Um, and then 30 hit, and then I was like, okay, like I really need to stop, but now I don't know how.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it for a year and a half, but now, like, what do I do? So then I started just making some life changes. on things. And then as soon as I got still and really just started just focusing on myself and doing right and, not being certain places at certain times of night, and not going to different places and doing different things, that's whenever, my wife now, that's when she came. And then when she came, my whole mood, my whole attitude, my thoughts, everything changed. And she came at that particular time because as she came 4 or 5 years prior to that, we wouldn't exist right now.
Oh yeah.
She
And
wouldn't have put it, but she wouldn't have put herself through having to deal with me during that time. She wouldn't have put herself through that. I don't care what anybody say. She wouldn't have
we,
done.
I'm not a I'm not a crazy biblical person
Yeah.
per se, but I do consider myself to be a little spiritual, more
Mhm.
so. And I do believe that people are definitely placed in your path uh, for the seasons that they're placed there for.
Mhm.
Some people are placed in your life for a lifetime, and some people have seasons. So, I mean, seasons change.
Mhm.
But the people who are put in your life forever, they're there for a purpose.
Right. 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 And that's exactly what's happened. Um, and then been living here 2.5 years. It'll be 3 years in November.
Still
Things are
crazy.
starting. Yeah, dude, it's wild. Um, Now finally things are starting to like look up as far as opportunities and better opportunities and just me just maturing as well. Um, and then actually the right people being put in my path. You know, um, every each and every little obstacle that I went through in the last 3 years molded me. Um, I had to, like the first job that I got, when I came over here, I needed to shed and shake a lot of my ways that I had for 10 years prior at a work
That's
at a work area.
that's a
So
big change.
yeah, dude. So like I had to change it, but then at the same time, I know right from wrong. And when you come from leadership, being successful, and then you go in like you're thrown into another system where it's not managed properly and it's animosity and it's jealousy, it's kind of like that fight or flight mode. So then, things get dicey at times because for one, you didn't come in there talking to nobody crazy, so you're definitely not going to accept that from nobody. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? But that happened for a reason because now I know how to handle situations better and I know how to watch and pay attention to
Mhm.
and see things develop before they develop. That's what I call playing the game. Seeing it's like playing baseball. Know what you're gonna do with the ball before it gets hit to you. Already play it out in your head. Read people, pay attention to what things people are saying, because then you really see their intention.
Mhm.
So that's how I had to grow and do that. But it took some doggone shoot long sleepless nights, early
Yeah,
mornings,
yeah,
frustration, a lot of things thrown across a room or a shop, a lot of like just a lot of things thrown in the garage, like just frustration. It
yeah.
took that. It took me to detox almost, but then I came out better,
Better. Yeah.
and
That
that's why things are working in my favor now.
I'll say one of the biggest lessons that I had to learn. And it's funny that I had to learn it because I'd seen it already. I
Hmm.
saw I watched somebody go through the very thing that I put myself through and made
Hmm.
fun of them because the fact that they were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I had to go through it, it was now I gotta hold my head in shame because it's like, how did I get here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was basically living above my means,
Mm-hmm.
trying to portray something that I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to basically, I put myself in one of those payday loan traps.
Oh, yeah.
And it's again, it was because I was living above my means, and it was because I was trying to take care of my bills, but then also be able to go out and stunt on the weekend.
Gotcha.
And I was hustling backwards. And I
Yeah.
realized that when I had not only did I go through the payday loan, but when I say I made fun of this person for putting themselves in this position, it was basically, they say you got to rob Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of them situations. I'm at this payday loan, but now I've also had to take out a loan over here in order to pay this person because of the interest that's on this. So now
Mm-hmm.
it's like to stay afloat, I gotta borrow here, pay this person, and then once they pay, borrow from them to pay this person. And I had to keep doing this until the point
Mm-hmm.
to where I was like, the only way I'm gonna be able to get out of this is I'm gonna have to do something drastic. And once I do it, I'm gonna make it right. And once I'm out, I'm out. I'll never do this shit again. And it
Mm-hmm.
came down to me having to put up my truck.
Mm-hmm.
My way of not necessarily my way of living, but I mean, if I can't get to and fro from work, then that is my way of living. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up having to like basically pawn my truck to this cash place in order to be like, okay, I can do bloop 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 bloop, and then when I get paid, saying when I get paid on payday, everything is a wash. I'm back to zero, and I'm just gonna have to thug it out until my next, paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
But now I paid everybody off. I don't have my hand in this pocket or this pocket. I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. And then, saying I ended up, doing that for I paid that off, got my truck back, and then my mom, when she found out about it, she was upset. But I told her, I said, hey, I needed to bump my head. I did,
Yeah.
and I'm good. It won't happen again.
So, like, you got a story to tell on that, bro, because so many people look like they got it all together, and then that influences other people to want to keep up, and then nobody wins. But it takes the real ones to be able to take that knowledge and bring it back, and then like talk to somebody else about it and share your mistakes, because you're not the only one that got into that situation right there. There's so many other people that get into that all the time.
Why those places
And
exist?
that's why those places exist right there. um I mean, a lot of times look where they put them at in neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's sad to say, it's sad to think it, but a lot of times where do they put it at?
Poor neighborhoods.
So it's designed to keep people bound. Nobody knows, like, like I'm not gonna say nobody knows, but the way of living financially free exists. And you can have a comfortable life
Mm-hmm.
if you just know how to manage money. And it's so important to learn that as early as possible,
Mm-hmm.
because you can avoid the damage. But if you don't, and you have to learn at a certain time, cool, you learn, you did what you needed to do, and then now moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of setback, but hey, listen what you got now. And people don't do that, but people have to go through certain things, man. You know, uh, I gave up making a whole bunch of money
Me
to,
too.
to wanting to have a lot of time to taking a job to
Yep.
where I still had the time, but I hated where I was working. You hear me? I loathed it because of the poor leadership. So now I'm in my head, angry. I've left everything that I've known for the last 10 years. Now I got to relearn everything. And now I'm swimming in a sea of people that are not like me. That's tough. That's taxing.
Yeah.
And that can cause some hate. And that can cause a lot of resentment. And that can bleed over into your home life.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what was happening to me at that particular time. I had a mindset of always succeeding, pushing myself because I left so early.
Right.
I was grinded, right? So I'm on that mindset. I mean, I was cussing everybody out, angry, bitter. Like I was very, very hateful for that first year of living here. Very hateful. Um, like the points to where now, whenever it just crosses my mind, I have to apologize to my wife all over again, just because. Um, but I was full of hate and anger and resentment because it, my little cousin, well, I say my little cousin, he's younger than me, but he grown now. But he made it very clear to me one day we were hanging out. He came down here and hung out with me, and we were out and about. We went to the barbershop or something, like on a Saturday or something. And he said something to me that stuck with me to this day. He said, "You don't like it here because you ain't the man here." And I was like, "Yeah, it
What
was a
you
little bit easy, huh?"
No, you said, and you got to thinking about it. And I was like, wait,
Yeah.
what you say?
No, man, he was like, no, he was just straight up with me, because normally it was always me giving him advice, but then he checked me, and he was like, "No, dude, you don't like it over here. You hate this place because you ain't the man." So I said, "You know what? You're probably right." And I'm just glad that I even had the ability to even listen and hear what he was saying rather than just arguing back with him. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So that's what he told me. So I kept that in my brain. And then that's whenever, I started really thinking before I speak on a lot of stuff. Really thinking before I interject into a conversation because I'm just that friendly dude that, social person. That's
Right.
when I really started paying attention to people's intentions. That's whenever I started evolving and in growing up was just me just having an open ear to a sincere, straightforward comment,
Yeah.
you know, and that's all part of growth right there. You're never too big to learn something new
Yeah.
from anybody.
You gotta have that person or people
People,
that
you can't be hard headed.
yeah, you gotta have that person or people who are gonna be straight shooters and are going to, set you straight if saying you're doing wrong
But
or
he
you're
legit
thinking
checked
wrong.
me. He straight up checked me. And I was like, all right. But had he not said that, I probably still been spinning my wheels, you know. So you're always learning, you're always growing, both of us are blessed. Um, when we have a platform to talk about it.
Yeah.
And both of us are blessed, man. And it'd be real foolish of us to be still doing the same dumb stuff that we were doing in our 20s and our 30s. Like,
Mhm.
bro, we about to be 40.
Yep.
Like it's time to,
Hold your
have
tongue, wench.
well, you might get there before I do.
You think?
you know,
Fucker.
but hey, I I am starting to feel a little bit though, bro, because the grays are coming in, man. I'm having like I've been finding it like in the mirror. I've been like
Bruh,
plucking it
I
all out.
I found two whites in my beard, and I don't know where the hell they at. Like they just gone.
No, man. No, you ain't using that that old Just for Men. Is you,
Dude, hey man,
man, let me find out you're in there with a toothbrush.
I this I will tell you this, brother. I am very much so embracing, getting older. Uh,
Yeah.
I listened to, I want to say it was Steve Harvey, but it may not have been. But somebody was talking about how foolish it is that people talk about how old they're getting, or how
Mm-hmm.
people try to downplay how old they're getting. They was like, he was basically saying, like, that's the goal. That's the goal in life, is
Yeah.
to get older. You want to make it to, your 60s and your 70s, and you want to
Mm-hmm.
be able to see your children grow up, and then see
Mm-hmm.
their children grow up and experience life. And
Mm-hmm.
you can't, be like, oh man, I wish I was still in my 20s. I No.
I don't.
I did a lot of, don't get me wrong, I did a lot of fun shit in my 20s, but I also did a bunch of dumb shit in my 20s.
Yeah, dude, if honestly, if I had to do my 20s over again, I'd be dead. I wouldn't make it out this time. I wouldn't make it out a second time.
Hey, I mean,
but,
we
but this is how
we
that would be. I
we've
wouldn't
had
smile.
we've had conversations where it was like we did some reckless stuff.
Yeah,
And I
like
mean
I,
that, in all honesty, that's what your 20s are. You're supposed to do dumb shit. You
yeah,
don't
but
want you want to get the dumb shit out of the way before you start with a family. Unfortunately, some people get a family and they still do dumb shit.
yeah, no,
Uh,
man. That
I'll
Peter
I'll
Pan
tell
was
you
only a fairy tale.
I'll tell you about this story that I read about the other day, because I was actually want to tell you about it up top, but then we got to talking about the other situation with
Uh-huh.
Jonah and Keke. Um, it's actually something that I want to talk about in a later episode, but I'm gonna give you the saying the reason, one of the reasons that I thought about it. I was reading this article. This dude in New York got killed, got stabbed up in a convenience store, all because he opened the door for somebody. They walked in and didn't say thank you. And yeah, I can see that being frustrating, but is it worth, like, running up on somebody, puffing up, getting all upset, like, hey man, I have a door for you. What the fuck are you doing? Like, this disrespectful. Say thank you. And like, I'm talking about immediately was like in this dude's face with the aggression. It wasn't like he was like, hey, it wasn't like he came to him like, hey man, I opened the door. The least you could say was thank you. It wasn't like that. Like, he immediately was like, rah, rah, rah. And the dude was like, okay, hey, I'm trying to go down this aisle. And the dude kept, hey, I'm talking to you. Da, 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 da. And it was like, hey.
You got you got
And
both, huh?
dude lost his life over a thank you and trying to be tough.
Over demanding respect.
Yep.
Well, that's what happens to. I thought you were going to say something about this case that happened. It happened like I don't know, 2016, 2017, maybe. Happened in New York. It was a young kid that got stabbed by like multiple gang members. They stabbed him, and all that right there was that it was from one of the gang members' little sisters or something was seeing a guy, and they had some video, like how teenagers are with these phones these days, and some videos got leaked out, and they thought that this kid was that dude. And then they chased him a couple blocks. He ran up into a like little corner store. I think they call them bodegas or something like that.
Right.
And he runs in there to try to hide. And like the shop owner didn't even help him out. Little boy's like, hey, call the cops, blah blah blah. And then he's trying to run from. He barefoot now. He got on socks. He done ran out of his flip flops, right? And then and the dudes rush up in there, and they see him in there. They rush up in there and drag him out. While they drag him out, they just stab him, sticking him. And then one dude cuts him, and then like they all run off. And then the kid gets up he's messed up, calling for help, nobody's out there, and he's running to the hospital, trying to get himself to the hospital, and then he collapses and bleeds out and dies. All over for mistaken identity and then teenagers just doing stuff like that. And in that particular game, they were known for violent crimes. That's just through history. Like, they're known for violent crimes usually done with knives. So then they just lived up to that expectation. And it was a sad deal.
Yeah.
Over why put yourself in a position to lose your life or take someone else's life over something senseless?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that part.
Yeah.
So maybe that right there could, we could elaborate a little bit more on that, down the road.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's go ahead and end it there, man. I didn't mean to take us down that dark path, but it was just something, like I said, man. I read it and I was like, that's crazy. All because somebody didn't say thank you. It's like, I get it, but it's not that serious.
No, not that serious at all, man. People, dude, you just gotta be prayed up, man, when you go out the door.
I mean, it's not that serious, and it all because you couldn't even get out the way, because the dude was trying to, like, hey man, I ain't really trying to do this. Just get the fuck out the way. Let me go get my Cheetos and my Coke so I can get to work. And the dude was just like, nah, blah 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 blah. And he was like, bro, I'm tired. I need to get them wild berry starbursts right there. Just let me, bro. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he got stabbed, but
anyway, man, I think that's gonna do it for us, brother.
okay.
Go ahead and close it out.
Good deal.
Thank you again for stopping by, hanging out with us for this little bit of time. I think we're gonna run over an hour.
Okay.
But hey, people might like longer episodes from us. I mean,
who knows? Just
eh,
got we want to be able to be diverse. So
yeah,
I think that we're doing a decent job at that so far.
yeah.
Hopefully somebody can either relate to it, in their own lives, or even apply it. Just keep a positive outlook and just keep a positive message going.
You know what? 2 updates on 2 stories that we talked about previously. So you remember when I was telling you about how the Susan G. Komen thing, how they only get a percentage that actually goes to the fundraiser. I mean, well, to the research.
The cancer
thing. Yeah. So somebody actually hit me up on Facebook, and they pointed out that it's only like 29% of the funds actually go to the research. Everything else goes up the chain of command. 29%, bro.
Not even 30.
Not even 30. Couldn't give the extra percent. That's got to go somewhere. And another update, my mother-in-law pointed out that my homeless day was right before my wedding. When I told you that they popped out the van and was like,
yeah,
mister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were getting your hair cut.
Yep. Right
before your wedding.
Right before my wedding.
That's funny. Yeah. My homeless time, it was like a couple months before my buddy's wedding.
Yeah.
Not even my own.
Terrible. Just terrible.
Yes. Just bad, just terrible timing on that one. I don't even want to relive it again.
All right.